Wargamer Online, the home of wargaming.
Oh,
I heard Pink briefly. But all I can see is
we're
Jack
live.
on his
We're
face.
live.
The
Liam, we're
hill's
still
frozen
live.
for me.
Liam, we're live. Have we lost Liam? Seriously?
I think so. I think so.
I tell you what, I'm just going to talk on
We're just gonna power on
and hope
through.
that people can hear us. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a rather messed up Monday Musing. We are live.
I'm just gonna message Liam to say we are live.
Yeah, just say, Liam, can you stop talking because we are live. Okay, so right, a few people in the chat. Let's at least do that to see if the guys can get connection. We're gonna, if anybody ever wants to use Facebook Messenger for any kind of video stuff, forget it. Facebook, seriously, you guys just need to get off whatever you're on right now and start fixing your technology. You've got no excuse. You've got more money than most of the planet put together. And here we are. Welcome to Ralph Coleman, Jim Wilson, Big McDanskull is in, saying evening all. Mark is in, happens to the best I see. It's a nightmare night tonight. I'm hoping that you can hear Jack. I think that's okay. If I turn that light off, is that a bit better? Liam's just staring.
I don't think Liam can hear us. He hasn't read my message, so
no, of course he hasn't read the message. No, he's just looking in the corner there. Well, Liam, how you doing? Oh, we hear you. Pink is gone. Yeah, Pink's gone.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still
Pink's
there, but your camera's gone.
Yeah.
No, that's not working, is it? That's not working at all. Okay, so this might be just myself and Jack tonight.
Just Liam staring.
I quite like just having little staring Liam up in the corner. I'm going to relax into this show because it looks like this is going to be one
of those.
I'm going to need to delete in about 10 minutes, basically. I think it's just that. So thank you to everyone for joining us. This is meant to be a little bit of a recap from the tournament at the weekend, basically. So it was meant to be a group chat.
At least we got one from each team rather than both guys from one team.
We do have one from each team, but you know, and we'll do our best. We'll do our best. We're actually in one room at least, so the technology is working between one desk and the next. But that's as good as it goes. You know what's worrying is we've got almost no comments in the chat either, so I'm slightly concerned we have actually lost everybody in this randomness. So
we're just talking to ourselves.
It's potential.
It's quite a possibility.
Guys.
So Liam's gone. Yes, that's the most of Liam face we'll see anyway. He's usually painting out of frame. That is true, isn't he? He does that kind of selfish out of frame painting that he likes to do. But you know, he's got a lot of custodies to get on with now. Matt, you're still there, I think. So should we have a testing from you?
Testing.
We got about a 10-second delay there, but I think we might be okay. Liam is totally not moving apart from his eyes. So funny. Okay.
Oh, he's message saying it's all froze.
It's all froze. Well, tell him to dial back in, and we'll I'm sure we can kind of make that happen, maybe. So let's start talking about the Age of Sigmar doubles. What did we play? Who did we play? Slippy Tiger's asking for the demands now. So this was. I think we might be okay. Liam is totally not moving apart from his eyes. So funny. And somebody's watching the video in the background.
Saying it's all froze.
It's all froze. Well, tell him to dial back in. And whoever's doing that, whoever's got the video up and running, I've just turned.
Liam's just left.
Okay, so that was Liam probably. Okay, we're back in. So thank you, Liam, for broadcasting our own video.
Scariness. Oh dear.
Right, let's talk about the armies we took.
Hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm alive. I've never felt so alive in my life.
Nice one, Liam. Welcome back to the show. You didn't mess the show up at all for 10 minutes there. Right, let's talk about armies. I don't know whether we have or haven't got Pink. I was playing with Pink, and we were the team Firestorm. So Firestorm consisted of, and this is very tricky, Fire Slayers, and Stormhost. Stormcast. Stormcast. So there you go. It's all in the name. Liam, Jack, what were you going?
Well, what? We were Beastie Boys, weren't we, Liam?
Yeah, I had Beasts of Chaos and Jack had Beast Claw Raiders.
Rocking the Beast Claw Raiders.
So a double whammy of the beasts on your side of the table.
Double whammy of beasts, yeah.
5 matches, 2,000 points. 1,000 points are obviously for each player.
Yeah.
You were allowed. You had to still conform to the battle restrictions.
Yep. So 1 leader, 2 battle line.
Yep. There could only be 1 set of command points built up throughout the turn, so you had to share
1 command point, not 1 for each player.
Although you could have obviously abilities and relics, etc., etc. No, all those restrictions. There was no other restriction beyond what's naturally within the game. But what we did have to do was, decide who was going to get to spend the command point each turn.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't spend all our command points. I don't know about you.
Either.
You just get so mental once you're into the game. It was over 2 days. So again, like I said, based at Warhammer World, we had 3 games on the first day. 2 before lunch, 1 before lunch.
No.
It was a late start.
After lunch.
Yeah, 1 before lunch, 2 after lunch on the first day. Starting at 10:30 in the first game, and then that was like 2.5 hours. They gave each game a 2.5 hour slot, didn't they? Basically, was what you were playing to. So we finished at about 6 o'clock on the Saturday. So 3 games in at the end of the Thursday. I'm going to talk for Pink unless he is there. Matt, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
No,
go on.
I can hear it.
I tell you what, seeing as though you're a little bit delayed, which makes conversation with you tricky, but why don't you at least describe our first 3 games? How about that?
Yeah, sure. So the first game we had of the day was 2 great guys. It was a Nurgle list, so it was a mix of the Nurgle Mortals, it was the Rotbringers, and also of the Skaven Pestilens. And it was a probably fluffy looking list, lots of different units out in play. And I couldn't believe how much damage those Skaven can do. You think that the Nurgle's going to be all actually those Plague Monks hit like a truck.
Yeah.
But luckily we got the first turn, we got onto the objectives in the centre of the board. And Fire Slayers, as you expect, are rather hard to shift away.
I've brought up a photo from. I've brought up a photo from the opening salvo where my 2 Fire Slayer units, the 20 and the 30 strong units, dropped in 9 inches away from them, so the people can see that first lineup.
Yeah, we called it right, I think, in that we pretty much ignored the Blight Kings and went straight for the squishy Plague Monk unit in the middle. So although they do a lot of damage, they also have very weak saves. So when your Fire Slayer unit hit it, it did a lot of damage to them. And I think after that they kind of struggled to come back. They couldn't really do enough damage to pull it back.
Yep. That's it. Yeah. Well, and you played more of the. I think this was a pattern for most of it. You played the late game a little bit more to a degree. The first 2 turns was all about me doing as much damage as possible, and the third turn was you kind of either achieving objectives, mopping up the tough stuff I couldn't shift, or providing support. So it was. I think they worked well together as 2 armies, didn't they? Should we do just a quick of the armies of the second 2 games, and then we'll go over to Liam and Jack?
Yeah, go for it. So the second army was a mixture of Daughters of Cain and Deepkin.
So sorry, let me just. Sorry, Pink. That was Daughters of Cain and Iden of Deepkin. You broke up for a split second there, but go ahead then.
And I think it's fair to say that actually, when they set up, you and me, we hadn't played against them much, and we didn't really know what we had to do against it. Actually, we were lucky that he didn't screen the High King well enough, and you managed to get in there and kill him. And also, the Daughters of Cain hadn't brought big enough blocks of witches, so they folded sort of fairly well to that. But it was a really scary list, actually.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We know those Daughters of Cain, and it's difficult for us to comment on the whole shape of the forces, because obviously you've got that 1,000-point restriction, so it is hard sometimes to kind of get a balanced force. Yeah, exactly, and that's that. We all had to make compromises in our list, but I think what against and it's always about the matchup, isn't it? But certainly against Fire Slayers, a 10-strong unit just wasn't enough to take the battering that comes in combat. The thing is, those 10 could be far more effective against other units, particularly character assassins. They're so fast. Killing characters, stuff like that, they could move through them. But
I tell you what I was amazed at was the Blood Cauldron. What did that go into that it killed your entire unit? Was it the 30-man or the 20-man unit it killed in one round of combat?
I think it was the 20-man unit in one round of combat. Yeah. No, it may have been the 30.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was the 20. It was the 20.
Yeah.
Which was good for them.
It was about 10 force. They'd got a lot of their buffs up and running at that point, but that was a murder machine. That thing was incredible.
And good-looking armies as well, I have to say. I mean, the thing is, we said the quality of the armies was consistent throughout our entire tournament, wasn't it? They were just... I don't think we came up against one bad-looking army. It was really nice to kind of see, people had gone to the effort on the armies. So that was our second match-off, and the final match-off of the day
was another Nurgle tag team, but this time it was Demons of Nurgle. Mixed with, again, the Mortals of Nurgle. Again, there's I think the Nurgle ones are really common pairing because they get to share that Wheel of Blight, or Liam, you'll know the name for this one.
Cycle of Corruption.
That's the one. There you go. Jack can speak for Liam. That was a really good combination because, of course, what it does is it buffs both armies. And they say in the doubles tournament that if, say, both of you brought that, you'd still only share the cycle. So there's not that much advantage of bringing both of the guys that get that. Is that the Rotbringers that have that?
Maggotkin of Nurgle all together.
That's the one. So that was another very good game. Again, it was two very resilient armies sort of bashing off against one another. I think we managed a couple of clutch moves, didn't we? So we were playing on, I believe this was Hish, and they had the realm rules, and I got a lucky spell off that let me pick up one of their Lords of Decay and throw him 24 inches off an objective, so he spent the whole rest of the game waddling back onto it.
Yeah,
but
that was utterly cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a picture up of your... Is it the Sequesters? Help me out there, the tough guys, yeah? With their battle against the Blight Kings in the woods. I've got that photo up there. That was just... Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so I think that this was my first tournament taking these. I'd heard that people thought they were quite good, and I could see it on paper, because as long as you got the command ability, they're re-rolling all hits and all saves. And with Staunch Defender, that brings them to a 3-up rollable. When the guy got the charge off with 10 Blight Kings, I said, just to let you know, I can re-roll saves. And I think he said, don't worry, you won't need it, they'll all be dead. 2 rounds of combat later, I'd lost 1 Sequitur. I rolled well, but I lost 1 Sequitur and all 10 Blight Kings were dead.
Yeah, they were cool. They were very cool guys, and I don't know whether they played Fire Slayers before. I definitely played off against Nurgle before, and as soon as I saw the Nurgle getting put on the table, I thought, this is resilience versus resilience, and it's going to be a grind on both sides of the table. Masses of dice with very little effect at the end, and that was the thing. You're rolling 30, 40, 50 dice, and you're taking 2 models off. You're just like, oh. It was kind of like, and we were both at the end of a long day, weren't we?
That was the army against. You had your Fire Slayers unit against their Plague Bearer unit, and I think you were each taking 1 model off per round of combat. You wouldn't believe it.
It was disgraceful. Okay, right, I'm going to do a quick catch-up on the chats because there's a bunch of people saying hello, so I want to say hello back, and then we'll go through Jack and Liam's first 3 games, I think. Slippy Tiger, who played what? Well, I think we've covered that. Baz, admittedly, that was a quote a while ago. Just popped into before work to say hello. Well done and all that for the tournament. Thank you very much, Baz. Molp27 says hello from Spain. DJ the Lucky One is in there saying hi all. And hello from Spain is a slight typo correction there. A lot of people saying hello to each other then, which is always nice to see in the chat. Raphael, the fun has arrived. Thank you very much for coming in. Al Kirkham, how's the world treating you? So again, you know, all these lovely people chatting to each other in the chat. Karanis is in there saying hey all. That's it. Right about you guys then. Come on, tell us what happened.
Liam,
Wow.
do you want me to go or do you want to go?
One each. You do your first battle.
What? Liam, you take the first battle then. 'Cause you
Oh,
particularly like
oh,
this
okay.
one,
I'll
didn't
take the loss. The first game, first time ever playing Beasts of Chaos. Jack's played Beast Claws all the time.
you? Yeah, by the way, this was like us arriving at the tournament and not knowing what's in each other's lists until we started deploying them. We had no
That was
communication
good, yeah.
up to this point.
There's like drops of. Oh, you go with Stonehorns.
Oh,
And
so you
like,
took
the
that,
opposite
Liam. Oh, that's
team.
clever. Yeah. What does your army
Well,
even do again?
And then the opposite team were like comparing of what to do and like intensely measuring each unit.
Yeah.
It was like 80
Yeah.
skinks.
80 skinks. 10 men
Sure.
unit of skinks.
In fairness, though, what you got was a couple of players who'd come prepared for a tournament
Oh,
against
yeah.
a couple of dudes who bowled up with some models in a box. With a lot of luck and the ability to roll a ton load of sixes.
Yes.
I think that's a good way
That
of
was
saying
pretty
it.
much it,
So
yeah.
you were up against what? Seraphon and...
Seraphon and Sylvaneth, wasn't it, Liam?
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a major loss for you guys.
Yes, yeah.
And it was some cunning play
Yeah, it
by
was very,
screening
very
with
good play,
how many
yeah.
skinks?
I think he had about 80 skinks.
80
or something
skinks.
like
8
that, wasn't
skinks
it?
and he summoned another unit of 10.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
I think you surprised them though, because we were very close to each other in that opening game,
Yes.
and I kept looking across the table to see how you were doing. And when you see, you know, your Stonehorn slamming into Durthu,
yeah.
and I'm
taking
thinking,
Durthu down.
woohoo, you want to watch out for Durthu because he can really bowl out some damage. And then I go back to my game and look over my shoulder, and there's your Stonehorn just stood there in a Durthu-shaped hole in skinks. You know, it's like, ooh.
Yes, yeah.
So I think you took them by surprise a bit, and then they, you know, arguably they played incredibly tactically with some very cheap units
Yes.
to keep some very
It's the
tough
hot,
guys.
it was the skinks running away from combat, wasn't it, Liam? It's just...
Yeah. As
It
soon
was
as you get
so
into
hard to
combat,
counteract.
if you can't kill that unit there off, they'll just run off, stay within 6 inches of objective, and just go, "Hi, we've got it, but you can't touch us."
Okay, game two.
Game 2, oh wow, Game 2 was a good one actually. This was the one where we walked over to the table and I saw someone walking past with this lovely Night Goblin army. It was beautiful. I was like, oh, I'd love to play against those guys. And then they turned around to our table and went, oh, is this table 30? And I almost was like a little kid in a candy shop because I love Night Goblins. I adore them muchly. I think what were they taking? They had something like 2 units of 20 gobos with 3 fanatics, 2 units of 20 squigs, some big bosses, a colossal squig, and a pair of manglers as well. That was a brutal game, wasn't it? There was a lot of death in that game. I mean, there was the colossal squig charging the Frostlord on Stonehorn, and we beat each other until an inch of our life. The Frostlord just managed on like 3 wounds to take down the colossal squig. That's what he was left on. He just managed to take it down. Then he charged forward and went through some more gobbos. And then eventually it's just this big horde of 20 squigs just running over and just munching on the Stonehorns and bringing them down. Which was just great. It was just great to see Squiggos doing that. It was just... I mean, your Bestigors and your Gorgons just tanked through a load of it, didn't they?
They just ate everything that got in the way.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
what we did was, like, turn 2, I came up behind them by outflanking them.
Yeah.
Charged into a unit of squigs, killed half of them, killed 2 in the battle shot. Their turn, they tried killing me. I killed that unit. We got the next turn, priority. and I just charged into a Mangler Squig.
Yeah, and
Flat out killed that and exploded. Didn't mortally wound me, but it killed another unit right next to
Yeah,
it.
that was it. It killed some gobos around him, didn't it?
Well, again, I'm conscious that Pink can't be here for the whole show, so I want to get back to our last 2 games. But before we do that, your third game?
Third game was Death, wasn't it? Legions
Yeah, this
of
was the game where the Beast
Sacrament.
Lord went Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah, that was the. So we won this one as well because we only lost the one. But yeah, your Beast Lord tanking 40 Skelly Bobs and then cutting the head off a Necromancer to keep the objective right at the end of the game. Just securing us that game. It was by 1 point or something like that. Your Shaman, like, Sonic running from one end of the battlefield to the other just to grab an objective as well and hold it.
Faster than a Griff Charger, might I add.
Oh yeah, he was great. He was great.
So, end of day 1. We were 3 games in each.
Yeah.
Very, very tired bunnies. There was a lot of tired faces around the room. We were 3 major victories, and you were 2 major victories and 1 major loss. So just to explain the scoring, essentially there's 5 possible outcomes on each of the game. There's a major victory for yourself, a minor victory for yourself, a draw, and then a minor loss for yourself and a major loss for yourself, and obviously the reverse applying to your opponent. So a major victory for your opponent is indeed a minor loss for yourself. So that's
a major loss for yourself.
A major loss for yourself. Thank you very much. So it's you know, and the scoring is based on that.
Yeah.
I think a major victory was 6 points.
6.
Is that right? Okay.
Major loss was 0.
0, and off you go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, are you still there?
Yep.
Oh yes. And actually, you're pretty clear as well. So, day 2, we were feeling pretty positive.
We were, but I think we were also very well aware that we were on, what was it, table 5?
Yeah, table 4, was it?
The big league. Something like that.
Yeah.
The big league, and perhaps where we didn't deserve to be. But, so this is where we came across what I feared we would come across in the tournament, and we played against an Nagash Nighthaunt list.
I think you could have gone 2 ways with that statement. This is where we came across what we were really afraid of coming across, which is like someone who'd actually shown up really, really wanting to win. But that's actually unfair because I think everybody was there wanting to win. It was about that scary, scary Nagash. I'm bringing it up on screen while you talk through it.
Yeah, so we were playing in the realm of fire, which meant that you could do things like use spells to give +1 attack, +1 damage, I think +1 to wound or something like that. And effectively what happened was, I think turn 2, there was a block of 30, I wanted to say Hex Wraiths, I'm not sure that's true. It's the new Nighthaunt with the scythe.
Yeah.
Scythe Raves, according to
No,
Jack.
I'm just
right, okay. The Raves with the scythes. I have got them up on screen at the moment, so.
They came in, they had 10 attacks each, which were hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s because of Nagash, wounding on 1s, but of course 1s still would miss. But then they were at -1 damage, -1 rend and 2 damage. And they hit your 30-man Fire Slayer unit and deleted it.
Yeah, and to be clear,
And
this is a 30-man Fire Slayer unit who hasn't charged, so they've got a 4-up, 4-up. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had, because they had the dance up on them, they could have attacked twice. They didn't need to. 1 round of attacks did it, just wiped the unit. And I think we saw what was coming for the rest of the game there. So we played more of a fun game whereby we managed to score the most amount of points destroyed on their list that anyone in that tournament had managed. I think 520.
Yeah, they said that was the highest anyone had actually removed them. And literally, Pink was just like, let's take 1 more. If we get 1 more unit of wolves, we've done the best. You know, it's like, I actually like our opponents who, when they demolished that 30-man unit of Fire Slayers, kind of like we got to the end of the turn, it was like, well, there's no battle shock because they're all gone. And he went, you guys, would you want a drink? And it was like, yeah, that'd be really nice. Well, can we have a sit down and a little cry as well?
Oh, bless. And to be fair, Nagash himself was a beast, wasn't he?
Oh.
And it was a really nice combination of the spell portals to then do Hand of Dust at range on the Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger and remove.
Oh.
I also found out that day you want to find the hand with the dice, not the hand without. So I was really happy with that.
Yeah, although you broke up a little bit, but I just want to explain, hopefully for the audience, a little bit clearer. So, you have to pick the hand without the dice.
Without the dice.
Yeah, okay, so Pink does his, like, mind play with the opponent.
No, with the dice.
Pardon? With the dice. I thought
the
you had
dice.
to pick... Yeah, okay, so you have to pick the one with the dice, is that right? And, yes, you do, yeah, you're right. And you'd worked out which hand the dice was in, and correctly...
Yeah.
You correctly work out which hand the dice was in,
Yeah,
but you
and then
thought
pick
it was
wrong hand.
without the dice.
Yeah.
So you correctly picked the hand
Without
that...
the dice.
and what was really funny was our opponent, because you went, yes! Like this, and he went, wait a minute. And he got his battle tome out and went, no, you are dead at that. It's like, and it was like, because you celebrated so much, you actually made him second guess his own battle tome just for a split second. You know, it's like
He chose always style it out.
So there you go. That was our first game of the day, and it was a major loss for us.
Yeah.
Second game, and final game of the tournament, really.
Yeah. So this was going to be an interesting game for us because it was basically a mirror match. It was another Fire Slayers and Stormcast. And this match, unlike the others, you had to get objectives in your own table halves rather than trying to fight over the middle. So it ended up with a lot of hanging back.
Yeah.
And rather than what we were used to, which is charging in and trying to be quite aggressive. And I think it was a great match, but it ultimately came down to the point whereby if we won priority, we burned their objective and we won the game. And if they won it, they burned ours, and we lost the roll off.
And essentially that was the whole point. There was almost no chance of either of us failing if we got the priority, basically. I was well within room to get enough of my Fire Slayers onto their objective and burn it. I would have outnumbered their Fire Slayers. And yet we didn't get the roll off, and they just bombed down with the Prime, is it?
Yeah.
And we just didn't have enough bodies to stop him reducing the few bodies around the objective that we held. So it was literally whoever gets the turn, pretty much, it was guaranteed you were going to win the game. So to come down to that one dice roll, frustrating from a gameplay point of view, but also I actually found there was some poetic justice in a mirror match armies facing off each other, almost coming down to a dice roll at the end. It felt okay. I was okay with it.
Yeah, I was quite happy to have something to blame.
Right, okay, and let's... Matt, how long can you stay with us? Because I know that you are limited on time.
10 minutes or so.
Another 10 minutes. Well, let's in 5 minutes then. Can you cover your last two games?
Yeah, I can. So, our fourth game was Nurgle, wasn't it, really?
It was Maggotkin and
Maggotkin and Pestilence. And just to emphasise what Pink said at the start, Clan Rats hit like a truck. My goodness, those Clan Rats. And the worst thing is about Clan Rats, they hit like a truck when you hit them. Because every time they take a wound, on a 6 you take a mortal wound. So he had 2 units of 40 Clan Rats, and I got my 2 Stonehorns, and I charged the Stonehorns up the field. My Frostlord slammed into the Clan Rats, and so did the Beast Riders. The Clan Rats were bubble wrapping the furnace. the Frost Lord went through all 40 clan rats, and he got taken down to like 7 wounds or something just from the bounce back. Then the other Stonehorn piled in and destroyed the furnace in one turn, which really kind of set us the game, didn't it, there? Because what that enabled us to do was capture their objective, giving us 3 points. And it really drove a wedge in their ranks, because next turn they had to divert all their army across to this one flank where the 2 Stonehorns were. I mean, 40 clan rats charged one of the Stonehorns and just killed it outright. There wasn't even any argument about whether they were going to die. And then they actually got the double turn, didn't they?
Yeah, so both of Jack's Stonehorns sort of evaporated.
Yeah, and then
but
those clan rats moved on to destroying the rest of that unit. But then our turn came around, and your Bestigors doing what Bestigors seemed to do throughout their entire match, just went charged up, charged those 40 clan rats and destroyed all 40 clan rats in one round of combat and grabbed that objective again for a second time. I think, a Great Unclean One charged up into the Gorgon.
My Gors.
And you sent the 30 Gors after them. They're rubbish Gors, but they had Inferno Blades, didn't they? Giving them 2 damage instead of 1. And they just mince-meated the Great Unclean One down into nothing. Those Gors were MVPs. They were amazing.
They just ate it.
It was great, yeah. They just ate. And
the Gors stayed there till the very end of the game.
Oh yeah, that
Herdstone.
That Herdstone just made sure they stay.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. You had a lot of fun that.
Yeah, that was a great game. I mean, we were down to like 1 model each by the end of that game, and I think we won by quite a bit, but it was very, very close. There, we got a second double turn actually after they got the double turn, which really helped us out, didn't it? Allowed the Bestigors to capture that objective twice and get another 3 points. It was just...
So, major victory.
Major victory. Last game was Death again, wasn't it?
Legion
of
Sacrament
and Legion of Blood, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ark and the Black and
a zombie dragon that ignored all modifiers to his save.
I mean, they went first, 4 Harbingers into the 30 Gors, killed 25 of them in 1 round. But Herdstone was right next to them, so Gors stayed there. I think we won the game in turn 2, didn't we? Just from burning objectives, but we decided to play on.
Oh, we won it in turn 3.
That's it. We won it in turn 3. We played on just to see how many points we could get. I think that Stonehorn went through all the Harbingers, and then I alternated charging and retreating my 2 Stonehorns into a zombie dragon just to do D6 mortal wounds, because I knew that was the only way of taking it down. And I eventually just battering rammed it off the table.
So you tag teamed it?
Yeah, I tag teamed it. So one of them would charge and then the other would retreat, and then the next turn it was just alternate. So that was great. Okay. I mean, your Bestigors again charging up, went through 40 skeletons in 1 round.
And a Necromancer.
Them off
their objectives and burning their objectives.
Yeah, it was crazy. Really good game. Great guys to play against. Not a bad army in sight. So yeah, great weekend.
So I brought us some photos anyway, just to kind of see the armies. This
battle.
was the Squig battle, which is just, it's beautiful. Kudos to the guy showing up with Squigs and Night Goblins.
They did pretty well, actually, considering.
Yeah, great fun as well. We get to the end. We get to the end of the day.
Yeah.
4 major victories, 1 major loss.
Yeah, 4 major under our belt, and
3 major, 2 losses.
Oh, that was the thing. The only reason we won that last game is because Curse of Years on Arkan. He rolled his dice, got a 6, then a 5, then a 4, then a 3, and then he needed a 2 up to delete the Bestigor unit, and he rolled a 1.
No.
And so that's what really allowed us.
I was so happy. I just screamed in the middle of the hall like, yeah!
yeah. It was one of those like tense, head vein throbbing moments.
We've just had a subscriber, almost, I think, unpronounceable in terms of it. Just looked like a load of X's and things, but so sorry because I kind of missed it. But thank you very much for the subscription. Okay, Matt, I'm conscious you're around. What did we do once the game was over?
You bought some stuff. Had a drink from the bar.
Shopping and crying into beer glasses. And,
There was a bit of
these
retail
guys-
retail therapy, I think it's called.
I think both of us were like, we probably don't need anything. We'll go see the award ceremony now and give everyone a bit of a clap. And then we were rather surprised by the good news from these two. Do you guys want to tell them?
Oh, what us? Oh yes, this was quite a funny minute. So we're there during the award ceremony, and it comes up with, and in third place, and it's like, you know, a little drum rise, Beastie Boys, and I'm sat there, and I'm like, why does that sound so familiar? that name sounds really familiar. I look over to Liam, and Liam kind of has the same puzzled expression on his face, and then I see his face drop and his mouth open, and I'm like, wait, that's us. That was us. It was completely out the blue. I have no idea how we do it. I think it was just the sheer amount of people we killed on the last two games.
Oh no, I actually had a look at the results, guys. The reason why you came third over the others, which had got also 4 and 1, was because of your favourite game votes and favourite army votes. Okay,
that's it then. Yeah, because we got 4 out of 5 favourite games and 3 out of 5 favourite armies. But
so,
yeah,
this is quite important to bring up at this point, is that everyone there every team gets 2 votes, so 1 per person basically, for their favourite opponent they played against, and also for their the favourite army they played against. So what looked as a good cohesive army, what was well painted, presented, that sort of thing. So, and there's 5 points in it for each. So actually, when a major victory is worth 6, and you've got a potential 10 in there, there's always going to be quite a few people who either win all 5 or win 4. So the way you score well in this tournament is you have to be a decent player, you have to be nice to people, and by putting in the commitment and bringing us a nice looking army.
Yeah, and I think that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. It's weighted that way. It sets the tone for the competition. You know, absolutely brilliant. I've just shown the little piece of glass that you got. It's not that little, actually. It's a good old bookmark.
I had a bit of a panic attack just carrying it around. To be honest, I was scared I was going to drop it, knowing me.
So third place,
completely out the blue.
74 teams, 72 teams, 72 teams, 72 teams.
Completely out of the blue. To say that we had no idea what we were doing. Liam has never played Beastman before. We had no idea what was in each other's army. I think we did pretty well, to be honest, Liam, didn't we?
But Matt, did we go home empty-handed?
I think we were really happy for these guys, and we were like, that's nice. And then right at the end, they said, "Oh, most sporting," and we won that. Yeah. So I thought that was lovely, and we got a little piece of card and a little trophy as well for that.
We did.
And then the whole, and we don't do this very often, but we've got someone who scored 5 for best army and also 5 for favourite opponent. So we've got some new Knights of the Inner Circle. And at this point, I was going to turn to Phil and go, "They always say this, Phil." And it was so we've got that. So between 2 teams, we've come away with 6 trophies.
Yeah, not bad.
Which was, but we don't have the Knights of the Inner Circle trophies. I mean, they said it's rare that you get 5 and 5. I have to say, from my perspective, given my play style, the kind of armies I like to play, you'll know from the bat reps, I'm not heavily competitive. We were talking about my next army, which we'll come back to next, but you were asking, I was going, I wonder what these do, and I wonder what that do, and you and Matt was going, but Phil, you've already bought some, and I was like, yeah, I know, I bought the models, the army comes second for me. So from my perspective, that's actually the award that I'm humbled that 5 teams that played against us through all the ups and downs of playing games, because they're not stress-free, those situations. You've got dice roll you really need to make, and sometimes you do make them and sometimes you don't make them, and sometimes you lose out and sometimes you destroy someone. And and I definitely had some lucky rolls, some lucky saves in some of the games. And there was one time I destroyed a unit just with sling shields, 30 dice producing 10 sixes. That's not funny for anyone to live through. So to still get the favourite game when that's happened to you, when you know that's,
Sometimes it's not about how the game turned out, though. It's how the players dealt with it more than anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time apologising for my dice at times. It was like
I think you were apologising for me as well to one of the people, weren't you?
Yeah, someone was like, that kid can roll sixes. It's not right. So I brought up the group shop at the end of the day. We said to everybody,
tired faces.
grab your trophy, grab your certificate, and everybody but Liam pulled up with their certificate.
I'm not, to be honest, at the end of that day, I'm not sure any of us knew what was going on. We were all so
pretty
tired.
wide. How people can do the, because the doubles tournaments do have a reputation for being competitive, but being the doubles, you've got somebody working with you, haven't you?
Yes.
Reminding you, hey Phil, don't forget to do that, and so how you can play on your own for a 5-game tournament and be at the top of the game, it's incredibly demanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm. I'm getting you a T-shirt that just says Sling Shields, Phil.
Okay, how many times? I think I forgot my sling shields once.
Twice.
No, the second time I had remembered them. I just forgot I remembered them.
I'm not sure which is worse.
So, because I turned to him and went, "Oh no, I can't believe I forgot my sling shields." He was like, "No, dude, you killed 2 of them." And I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks." It was like, he was almost like, "No, it's okay, mate. Don't worry."
Don't worry.
So maybe before Matt has to go, let's grab Matt for probably favourite moment of the tournament.
Oh, that's a difficult one to put me on the spot for there. Personally, myself, I think it would be getting the Sequitors versus the Blight Kings in terms of gameplay, and from the tournament itself, it would be when we got those votes in for the favourite game, favourite army. Just knowing it's a nice end to the tournament. It's all a bit of a pick me up, and then we went and did a bit of shopping, didn't we?
A little bit of shopping.
Just a little.
Okay, Liam, you got a favourite moment in there?
I've got a favourite game. It was the game that happened, like the most stuff happened that stayed with me. It was game 3, end of day 1, against 2 zombie dragons. One that was immortal and did not have any modifiers to his save, and the other one was just a zombie dragon. So pretty standard. Jack just rammed them as he did, and then my gore unit charged the one with the minus with no modifiers. It kept it there the whole game, and they did not die until the very last turn. And this allowed Jack to keep on ramming it. He just reversed and rammed it again. Again.
My technique for dealing with unrendable zombie dragons is just rely on Hammer of Wraths from the Stonehorns.
It just go on, Liam.
The next best bit was when the Vestigors basically wiped out 2 units of 40 zombies in a span of like 2 turns, was it?
No, they ran forward, killed the unit of 40 skeletons. He then used a command point to bring back all 40 skeletons, to which the Vestigors killed them again.
Nasty. I tell you what, I've just noticed David Ellis 636 is in the chat as well, and he said, "Hey, I was the guy with the 2 damage Grimghast. It was an awesome game," and a smiley face. And I've actually just brought up that unit, so it was a brutal looking unit. I've never been so terrified of something.
They're so good. They're so good.
Yeah, so good. Played very well, and again, just coming back to that game, actually. The amount of times, for people with spiky armies, there's almost an unwritten rule, isn't there? That just says, you know what, get them as close as you can to the scenery, and after that we'll just agree to, like, he had to get that entire unit through a Sylvaneth Wildwood, or a Wildwood as it's called when the Sylvaneth aren't on the table. And it was like, please don't get those things hooked up, we'll just pile them round the corner. And I think that for me was... that for me was probably my favourite. It's almost a favourite sentiment. I've not done many tournaments at all. You get the opinion that the tournament players are all very focused, they're not very forgiving, etc., etc. We saw, I have to say, zero evidence of that from our opponents. The amount of oh, don't worry, mate, roll that dice. Oh yeah, you forgot. No, I get it. Or you know, how many have you got in there? And you're kind of going, well, you know, I've got 4 in, but because of that bit of terrain, I probably could have get 5. Yeah, no, call it 5. Yeah, you know, and all of those things that go on. That in a tournament situation you wouldn't think would happen, and it goes to show you that, you know, at the end of the day, people are gamers looking for a fun game. Yeah. You know, I mean, first and foremost. Some of the friendliest guys, some of the nicest games we've ever played, even when you're on the top tables. I mean, I think me and Liam on our last game, we were on, what, table 4, 5 or something, so we're quite near the top, weren't we? And the guys I know were great guys. I mean, it's just such a fun game when people aren't being like that. Yeah, and like I said, no evidence of it really. No. You know, you saw good play, but good play is not the same as gaming it. Yeah. You know, and good play, like, it's, you know, I could see your frustration when you were up against those skinks. Yeah. But you know, like we were saying, that's what you do. That's what they're doing. What they're there to do. They're a huge, you know, shield unit and a denial unit, and they did exactly their job. So you can't resent that at the end of the day, because that's why they brought that many skins, and they were all painted, they were all highlighted, they were all shaded, nice looking army as well. You know, so you got the commitment for it. I mean, go ahead.
I think it comes down to that thing again where we're saying that, like, people there are really nice, but actually as well, you have to be. You can't win the tournament and be nasty to your opponents, because you will not win. True, actually, yeah. You won't get 5-0. Well, no, people did go 5-0, but if there was 2 teams 5-0, and the one with the more favourite game votes is the team that won. Yeah. David has just said we had guys hitting each other through solid walls, and we did, didn't we? There was that piece of terrain, and it was like, oh, we know that you could kind of measure up and pile in over that wall and then balance your base over there, and it was like, no, they can hit each other. Let's just go, you know, So I think my room father was hitting people through a solid wall, and some dude with a great big bell was having to go back at him. You know, it was like brilliant. Right, okay. Jack, have we covered your favourite moment? I don't think we have we? Mine's pretty simple, actually. It's just realising that my opponent was night goblins. And looking at just all the glorious squigs. I mean, whilst ever we were playing the game, it's like, you're not going to sleep tonight, man. You're going to feel so bad about killing all these squigs, all these nice, cute little squigs. What have they ever done to you? It was the day after, when I'm like setting up for my first game of the day, and the guy comes over, pats me on the shoulder, and goes, "Oh, looks like you're tired, man. You've been up all night crying." I was like, yeah, I just couldn't get over the squigs. They were just so good. It was great to see, actually, night goblins that are regarded as, you know, this, like, almost comedy army doing well. I mean, squigs are brutal. Like, hitting on 4s, 3s, they're -1 D3 damage, and when they run away, they do mortal wounds to you. It's just, they were brutally good. Yeah, I love this scene. I've got the image up again of your battle against it. Yeah. Is it the gargantuan squig in the centre? Yes, do you want to just describe that final battle? Because didn't he end up fighting off against one of your... Sorry, we're just going to try and get... You can't, can you? Okay then, so we'll be quick. You ended up fighting off against the Stonehorn with the gargantuan, is that correct? Yes, or is that wrong? I did. The Frostlord on Stonehorn, and we did slap each other into an inch of our lives. I mean, I was on 3 wounds, and I just managed with my last attack to take the wounds off, and the gargantuan squig then exploded. 5 squigs bailed out and then charged the Morn Fangs to try and claim the objective. Nice.
So, I tell you what, we're in the last 10 minutes of the show, and apologies to everyone for our technical issues at the start of the show. I hope you've managed to keep up with the chat. We definitely need to do some work kicking this technology around a bit to get it right. I'm going to go see the messenger service tomorrow personally and express my dissatisfaction at their technology stack. But before we do that, should we talk a little bit about...
Next one.
It's like anything, isn't it? You know when you go on holiday and you sit there, you enjoy it, and you go, all right, we need to buy a place out here and live out here, and I'm going to become a beach entertainer. and then within minutes of getting back to work, life's back to normal reality, and all those pipe dreams have gone. We had a little bit of that at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, we have had a little bit of it, haven't we?
So for me, I'd already got some Ideneth, which donated to me, which was absolutely brilliant, wonderful to receive, and I've topped them up a little bit.
Yes.
My next Age of Sigmar tournament army, Ideneth Deepkin. Jack?
Yeah, and I'm partnering with you, aren't I? With my Daughters of Cain, which I've been working on. Actually, they're all 1,000 points is sat up there, primed, getting ready to be painted.
And I mentioned this because this is definitely going to feature on. I'm going to do some airbrush tutorials.
Yes.
We're going to be using some new paint effects and stuff like that for the
cool
sea creatures. You're going to be doing a bunch of stuff as well. We're going to be we're going a whole hog on this.
Yeah, our armies are going to be themed together, aren't they?
So we're basing together.
Basing water, sandy beaches, and I'm doing sea snake colours, so like blacks and white stripes around the snakes and stuff, just so they really fit in together.
All of this was worked out in a rather dangerous drive home where I've got to confess, I don't think I was paying enough attention to the road.
No, not at all, because we were too busy making army lists.
So, what about you guys? Have you had some thought? Are you going to do a tournament next year? Because we are definitely up for at least 2 tournaments next year.
Do loads of them. All of them.
Matt, are you going to sit on the fence for now?
No, definitely.
Excellent.
Whether or not I try and keep going with the Stormcast, or I'm really hoping there's a Slanesh release between now and then.
Ooh.
I think I'll be doing that.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, good point.
What about you,
well,
Liam?
we've seen some... there's definitely been a Slanesh Greater Demon shown, hasn't there?
No, I think the Fiends have been shown. You know.
Was it a Fiend?
Yeah, the Fiend.
Right. Okay, so it's a Fiend.
And Jack would be happy about this. I've heard there's going to be possibly a cave goblin sort of style army, maybe, based on the Portents that was released. But saying that, I think people have seen that there's going to be almost like a rogue trade, or like the Hammer Hall set. There might be something similar, and then the guys might be in that. But I'd be surprised if they don't do an army release along with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think last year it was the Tower, and they also did Siege.
Yeah, absolutely. So, new armies, possibly, maybe Stormcast still for Matt. I understand. It does feel like you've got plenty to explore within Stormcast.
Stormcast are like 5 armies within one, aren't they? With all the different things.
Whereas right now, for me, at 1,000 points, I feel like I've explored Fire Slayers as far as I can go at 1,000 points. There's not a lot I can do within 1,000 points. Although I have to say, our last game, the opponent brought something I'd not seen on the table for a long time. Rune Smiter on Magma Draft. I've not seen anybody fielding that for a long, long time, and it did okay. It did a good job. Yeah. David Ellis saying, if it makes you feel better, that first turn charge you wanted in our game. Yeah, I'm clearly aware of that first turn charge I wanted. It's still crying into my tea about it. In game 5, a buffed Bloodthirster got a 14-inch charge turn 1. Over all our screens and killed Nagash in one go.
I heard about this. Did you hear how he did it?
No, hold on a second. Say again?
I was going to say, did you hear how he did it?
No, go.
There was, as I understand it, I'll get correct in the chat, but there were the 3 slaughter priests in the forge, the battalion they can bring, and they're all buffed on hits. Normally, he will do an extra attack on 6, and now he did it on a 4.
Okay, extra attacks on hits,
yeah.
got them on 4s. Right. Jack, do you want to explain? Because we lost Pink a bit, and I think you know what he did you?
I kind of understand this.
So he got extra attacks on
the
4s
slaughter
rather than
priests,
6s.
When they pray, they can give you like +1 to hit and everything.
Yeah.
And the Bloodthirster, I don't know whether he gets additional attacks or he does like just instant
He said extra attacks on
mortal wounds
6s,
or
so
something. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and he was getting those on 4s apparently.
Yeah.
So he just piled a whole bunch of attacks into the gash.
Yeah.
David Ellis is actually in the chat saying he's currently torn between Blades of Khorne and Legion of Azor, which is the Chaos Dwarves.
Chaos Dwarf.
Yes.
So cool those. Matt, we were looking at those in the cabinet. I did have a little bit of a moment.
They're very pretty.
Yeah, yeah. But Idoneth for me. I'm all about my sea creatures now. We're going to do some, Al Kirkham saying looking forward to the tutorials. I'm definitely, at the moment, I am making wiggly worms out of, seriously, this is the prep I'm putting into this, guys. I'm making wiggly worms out of milliputs. So I can try the different paint effects and stuff before I start painting the eels and, whatever. And this is the funny thing, by the way. I don't know the name of one single Idoneth Deepkin unit. I've bought the boxes. I haven't even read the writing on the front of the boxes. I've literally bought them by pictures alone. So Jack keeps shaking his head at me when I go, oh, I'll do that kingy dude with the funny thing. And he's like, oh, for heaven's sakes, Dad, read the battle tome.
Yeah, I've already read through the battle tome and figured out what's good and what's bad, and if we're going to do a tournament, but you know what he's like.
I'll get there, okay?
He'll buy the whole range and do like 4,000 points of it, and then
start reading the book.
Start reading the book,
Okay, Insensate Rage Bloodthirster with help from 3 Slaughter Piece and a Bloodstoker. So there you go. Okay. Sounds utterly filthy. Right, guys, we're at 9 o'clock. Matt, thank you for sticking around for the whole show.
No, pleasure, mate. Sorry, cool. It's been a bit in and out.
That's all right, man. No, I've had worse days. And, it's not often we've had a double entendre on the chat.
It's been great.
We'll go with that one. Liam, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Congratulations on your 3rd place victory out of 72 teams.
Yep.
Beastie Boys forever immortal.
Four favourite
than last year.
Favourite game votes. Better than last year. No reflection on Acharia out there. He's not in the chat tonight. I think he's keeping his head down in case you went there. Jack, thank you very much for joining us.
That's all right.
You've got a desk full below camera. There is a desk full of Daughters of Cain already. I came back to a comp. Oh yeah, Matt, you're gonna love this.
Primer.
I bought a can of primer about 3 days ago. It's empty.
Blitzing through my Daughters of Cain.
Well,
nice.
they're all built-in components, aren't they? Sub-assembly.
Yeah, they're 2 parts. The heads are separate because it's just a pain with all the hair.
So with sub-assemblies, of course, you do burn through primer like crazy because, only about 1/10 of what you spray actually hits the small, tiny part.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got heads and weapons and stuff like that. But bravado on sub-assembly on Daughters, by the way, because you've obviously got, more agility than I have by a long way. Scarecrow's coming in saying hello and a wink, and DJ the Lucky says, well done all, good night. Scarecrow says, hey guys, I'm Stu from I'm working back in the chat, maybe I should work forwards. Stu from Game 4, it was an incredible game, but they were plague monks, not clan rats.
Is that me?
It must be, because you must have said clan rats, so you were up against
I probably said clan rats, yeah.
So that's Scarecrow 1908.
Great game, loved it. So brutal.
Right, well, it's wonderful to see some new people in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. And it'll be great to meet up with some of you wonderful people again. One of the things we said is, and I said it to one of the teams you played against.
It was Scarecrow.
Was it Scarecrow, was it, to come down for a battle report?
Yeah.
So I'm going to, extend that to anyone we played against. Get in touch through Facebook. If it's a possibility, you can make it to Warwickshire sometime. We'll try and arrange a rematch, maybe adjusted lists, I'm not sure. The other suggestion at the moment, by the way, Matt, I don't know whether you're still there before we wind up, is maybe the two teams need to play off each other on a bat rep.
Oh.
Oh, Phil, Pink's gonna cry. Who's going anywhere near it?
Liam, we're gonna get the charge off, and you're gonna get absolutely socked.
Oh,
I think it's on then.
Words.
It sounds like it's
It's
on.
on.
Because I thought if anybody was going to bail on that game, it would be Matt. He'd be like, nah,
it would be Pink.
I'm not bothered about those beastie goals, mate. See you later.
He's too scared. He's too scared.
They can never take away my most sporting trophy.
I just want to thank everybody for coming along tonight. I want to thank our opponents who gave us favourite game and favourite army vote. Absolutely blown away. For me, that was the best prize of the day. I know it's not really... I should actually mention it was the Honest Wargamer was there. For those of you, he actually came first, so I should mention that as well, because it looks like he played a proper solid tournament game, so congratulations to him for coming first. And I think it's almost impossible to pronounce who came second. Does anybody want to have a go at that before we go?
Somebody's carnival of something.
It was a lot of words that I forgot instantly upon seeing it.
So even to the point when they handed the award out to them, they used an acronym to go with their team. So I can't. Yep. Here we go. I do actually have the. So this is Cloggius Pulger's multi-dimensional interactive carnival. So there you go. So congratulations to those, and actually congratulations to everybody who took part, because it was such good fun. Right. Let's say goodnight all. And is the dog here?
Yeah, let us come
dog get in. I'm going to say goodnight all. I'm going to thank all my guests, thank everybody who came along on the video, and thank everyone we played against. And also, last but not least, the Warhammer World events team, who were just sterling. The energy levels they maintained for 2 days solid, running around answering a million questions and all the rest. Brilliant. Right, David says he's in North London. It's a mission. He'll find out. I'm sure we can make it happen. Right. Okay, guys. Bye all. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
See ya.